Mental hesitance in things, but it's also playing chess rather than checkers. It's knowing what the next move is off of what you're doing. So he was working with me on kind of that meeting someone coming forward with tension and then melting off. And he's like, don't just charge forward, don't just always be pushing forward. But he also doesn't run backwards. Like, he stays very, very close. He's staying close to me here and just moving barely enough. So in his footwork, you can see he's moving just enough to take the power out of what I'm doing and to go off center. My movements are too big, basically. And because he's sure, he can make a very tiny movement. Amazing boxers, their head movement is very small. That's why you roll with the punch. You just barely get offline, and you're sure that you're dodging it. So he's putting himself in the corner and wants me to attack him because he has nowhere to go once he's in the corner. So he basically, without acknowledging it, was showing me that I had cut off the ring to the right spot, but then I didn't recognize it and do anything with it. Here, puts himself back in the corner. See, when he's in the center of the ring, he can move as far as he wants. So he's, without explaining it, trying to teach me how to corral him into a place where his movements are very predictable because he has very few to choose from. Here, he's showing a parry on the teep. And he actually had me parry the opposite way of what I've mostly been taught. Usually you go across the body. But what he's doing is that when you parry, you kind of hook the heel, and then he very, very gently pulls on it. And what that does is it pulls your opponent's face into your fist, basically, or whatever you want to throw. So how you parry that teep is important because it determines where your opponent's head and body are going to be. So you know where that target is. So I'm grabbing it from the wrong side, but he's okay with it because I'm still getting that small pull that he's asking for. So here he's showing how to use that same pivot that he taught me to dodge the leg kick as the footwork for the teep. What I did right there is something he taught me before. So I said, technique Karuhat, to show him that I learned that from him. And he waits a little while, working on some techniques. Then he goes, technique Karuhat. It's one of my favorite things that ever happened. I had a pissing contest with Karuhat and lost. And then he shows me how to do it because he's awesome. So basically, you kick knowing that they're going to block, and when their leg is up in the block, they're on one leg, and you hook the blocked leg underneath the calf and just pull them off center. I've only met kind of older fighters who do this, like, hooking of the leg. Nook at Lana Muay Thai does it really hardcore. It's an amazing trick. I don't know why more people don't do it. But maybe it just requires a level of relaxation that most people aren't at yet. Here he's making fun of me for shoving him too hard. Because I don't have control if I shove like that. He's like, I loved when people shoved me like that. Because you can melt backwards and counter it. So basically he's like, don't waste all of your energy pushing hard. See how he posts to like get me to push and then moves.
Yeah, I turned.
You can see his tension on my hands, and then he just moves off to the side. And as the tension disappears, I lurch forward. He's showing how not to shove somebody. See, he's pushing on me, and I get out of the way, and then he's just basically leaning into whatever I throw. He's like, look how easy. Look how relaxed he is when he moves out of the way. He looks like that in his fights, too. This is not just because he's, like, fine here. His left foot stays between my feet, which is crazy, but it keeps him close enough to do whatever he wants off of that turn. See how my foot doesn't do that? And so I'm like way outside of him after I do my turn. So my options are only long strikes. He's like, just move. It's so pretty. Look at how his hips don't even move. He's just like barely moving his hands. He's like, when someone's shoving on you, you just do these small parries. It's like when you shove against him and he does that slight parry, it's like fighting against sand. It's like if you're trying to run up a sand dune, because it's constantly moving just enough under your feet, it's exhausting. So fighting against him is that same exhaustion. You're pushing and pushing and pushing, and you don't have anything to grip because he's just barely moving out of the way.